Hi there, welcome to my channel. In this channel, as you know, we have been discussing a lot of Microsoft Intune, Azure, and a lot of other stuff from Microsoft Endpoint Manager. Now it's time for us to discuss on Windows 11. Yes, exactly. Windows 11 was leaked by a Chinese website, Baidu. It's called, and it was on the 15th of June 2021. Okay, so what they have done is they have produced the ISO file and it's publicly available. So using that Windows 11 is up to our risk factor, but at this point of time I'm actually downloaded that Windows 11 and I tried to test it on my environment for Microsoft Endpoint Manager along with Microsoft Intune to test it thoroughly, especially for the autopilot. And this is how it actually looks like. So I just inserted the CD and got install the Windows 11, and this is the first time wizard it shows that select your a nice graphical interface to select your Windows 11 specific country and the keyboard, all of that options. Now it actually seems to be checking for Microsoft updates directly over the internet connected environment. Now it's actually giving here a few options. One would be to look for personal utilization of this Windows 11, or you can also use for the work, meaning you can join to Azure AD as well as to the domain directly from here. But if you choose this again personal, it will give you the two options. One is for the online account, meaning you might have your Outlook or you might have your Microsoft ID and just log in with that so that it entire desktop and all the documents get synced to your Microsoft OneDrive. Or you can use the offline account completely, meaning there's no online Microsoft account, it's just the local user account. So let's have a look on it that for personal use, maybe let's try to see what are those options that you're going to see. As I said earlier, if we're going to have a look on a few of the options. Let's say if I choose here corporate, then I need to enter here my corporate account, meaning a work account or school account, all of that Windows 11 specific account. But if I choose the more options, if you see here, you have a domain join instead, or you can go back and choose there the setup for personal use. So I'll just select the personal use. Now I have two options. I should normally get it. One would be the Microsoft Online account or personal account with the offline account. So I'm going to choose the offline account. So if people are using any kind of secure devices, that can use the first option. Now they are actually offering me to forcing me to use the online account, but I know that I cannot use it that account because I just wanted to capture the autopilot hardware ID information from this machine. That's where I wanted to show you. So I'll just simply take my limited experience and simply proceed further with my user account creation on the local machine. So just click on that limited experience and give the user ID. So this is going to be your local user account. Hi and welcome back, and in this short lecture or short video, we are going to actually try autopilot with Windows 10. Not Windows 10 anymore, it's just a Windows 11. Yes, on last 2 days back, that is on the 15th of June 2021, Microsoft entire ISO was appeared on Chinese website. Yes, exactly, and a Chinese website called it's a most popular one. If you might have already heard, Baidu. It's a Baidu. Baidu. It's a Chinese website, and there's a complete source was available, and most of the people have been already downloaded and giving it a try. And that's okay. It's earlier we used to call Windows X. We were expected to release or get that specific version, but somehow this Windows 11 ISO is available for testing. You can Google to find out that Windows 11. But in this small video, we're going to try autopilot for Windows 11. So let's try. Now if you can see, this is my Windows 11. I have already installed, and it is just asking for the few questions like entering the user ID and the password. So I'm just enter the user ID, and this time it's gonna ask for the password. So once we enter the password and confirm password, it's gonna ask for your security questions that you can give it, what's your pet name, or maybe name of the city, or maybe some other questions that is gonna just security purpose. It's gonna enter. Once you enter that, it's going to ask for you to choose the privacy options. So these are the privacy options. If you look at in the left side, the icons has been bigger but the text is lesser. So that might change later point, but the UI looks really cool for us on a Windows 11. So let's accept that, and I'm actually fast forwarding all of this view so that you don't miss out anything. You see that animation is really nice on a Windows 11. So once you log in on this machine, you should be able to see here on a start button is central. There's no more on a corner left side. All this are on a central, very similar to Mac experience, right? You might have worked with Mac, and if you see here the latest icons with a great UI altogether, and this is a bigger UI change. If you see here, it's completely UI changed within this. So I'm just trying to click on all possible ways, and if you see here, Windows Defender is by default fully active, and which is not the case with Windows 10, right? And if you see here, I'm actually opening PowerShell, so I can open PowerShell. I can see my control panel and see all that. So even I can show you WinWare, so which is gonna show you Windows 11 with the Microsoft Windows 10 Windows 11 Pro with the workstations. So there's when you're trying to install, you're gonna actually get Windows 11 Pro and Windows 11 Education Home, multiple options you're getting actually, but out of that we have taken Windows 11 Pro workstations, and I might try the Autopilot on a different machine, but I just wanted to show you here how to extract the hardware ID. So for that, quickly let me show you that. Before I just let me close all of this stuff and quickly open PowerShell, and the PowerShell commands that we normally execute to extract the hardware ID. So if you just Google manually register devices with Windows Autopilot, so you're gonna get a link where they're gonna give you all these PowerShell commands to extract on an existing machine the hardware ID. So you can get that. Otherwise, you can check out the description of this video where I'm gonna show you all that hardware ID information. So you see here, it's actually created inside the C:\Windows WIT, and just copy pasted on my machine. Now for Autopilot, I can actually import the Autopilot machine directly from here with that specific file which was shown. If you see here, it's not assigned, and I would like to show you here my current configuration for Windows Autopilot deployment profiles. If you see, it is assigned. I have to unassign this, and I wanted to change some configuration because this is actually configured for hybrid AD join. I don't want to do that now, so let's actually select that and click on that. Maybe I'll just edit, and I'll simply take it out, that specific settings, but just want to show you what are the settings that I have taken. Those are the settings for hybrid AD in case if you're trying to do it. But in my case, I'm going to actually try by creating a new hardware Autopilot profile for Windows 11, which would be just like when deploy Windows 10. I'm sorry, it's a spell mistake. It should be Windows 11, but I typed as Windows 10. That's okay. What we wanted is we can use the same Autopilot profile for Windows 10 as well as for Windows 11. There's nothing stops. And if you see here, I'm actually trying on a Hyper-V machine, meaning I can test it with the user driven without the white glow option, and I should be able to test it with Azure AD join. So click on that, and allow white glow is no, and I wanted account type should be administrator, and I wanted to have even a specific computer name also. Let's say INHYD, a kind of a smart name with a random number I wanted to insert. So let's try that. So here, which shows my country code and my location and then a random number which I wanted to enter. So I can give here INHYD a random percentage, and I have already created a autopilot group. In case if you have not created this AD group, you can actually create a group, a dynamic group with the specific query, which will query to JetTI devices. And if you see here, now the profile got created for Windows 10 Autopilot, which can also work for Windows 11. Let's try. And if you see here, it's not assigned, so it might take a minute or so to automatically change that status to assigned to yes. And in the meantime, let's go back to Windows and Windows enrollment, and let's have a look on the profiles. If you see here, it's still updating the profile which we have assigned or imported the hardware ID, right? So let's assign to Bob. So when you're trying to do, in case if you're trying to do this on your production, if it is trying to already doing an update, it might not reflect. So you must have to either wait, there's no status on a profile status, then you can actually assign it. If you see here, it still shows as unassigned. So that's what it's going to do. So if I do refresh also, it's not going to happen. Now it's assigned. So if you see here, it's unassigned. The profile status is changed to assigned, meaning now actually I can select this, yes, and assign to a specific user called Bob in this case. So let's give it a try. By selecting that, if you see here, this was 9709 with a different serial ID which was already assigned to Bob. Now let me give it a try on a 3417. You see here, it's not assigned. So select, assign the user, and assign. Now you see here Bob is there. That's it. It's a quick step, and if I do a quick refresh, it will work. Don't try to sync up. In case if you have a problems, you can sync once within a 15 minutes time, but don't sync multiple times. It might throw different errors. If you see here, if I just click on that, it's showing a Bob account. That's nice, right? So let's actually take this machine. So this is one more machine with the same hardware ID. So I'm going to actually revert back to Windows snapshot state, where I have actually shown the first beginning of this video, like language settings, right? So there I have actually taken a snapshot. So I'll just roll back there, since the virtual machine is easy to roll back, and now I'll just do a quick reset so that it will start from scratch. Even that language option also shouldn't show me. So if you see, I just rebooted the computer, and it is checking for the update, and it will provision in a few minutes with complete autopilot. So that's nice. So let's wait for a few minutes. In the meantime, we can enjoy the UI experience on Windows 11. So it just restart it. It's just trying to start the computer. By the way, here if you notice, which is next screens which you are going to get it for autopilot, would be the left side. A nice view will come for your autopilot. If you see here, this animation followed by the autopilot specific new logo or new icon will come up all together. And if you notice, since we have pre-staged for this account for this machine for a Bob, it's actually taken already email ID, my company name, and my password. It's going to come up. So I'll just enter the password and click on sign in. That should actually take me to the next step. So I'll just type in my password. I'm a lazy guy. Let's click on sign in. That should enter the password. It might disconnect because if you see here, this is in a basic Hyper-V view. Once it is connected to actual RDP view, then it might disconnect, and I might have to type it manually, the password also. That's the durable thing. And if you see here, now the icon changes. This is what the icon, if you see here, this is, I really like it, this the left side icon, followed by these 3 steps that we used to get it with the autopilot. In case if you're quite new and you're visiting this video, these are the steps that are part of your autopilot. So here, if you look at these 3 steps, that are very key. So your applications, all of that stuff would automatically gets installed once you completed this specific step. Now let's have a look on by scrolling up, and you could see actually here, if I just scroll up, device preparation is completed. So in case if you're stuck at this step, you might have to work with enrollment status page, that's called ESP. Just try to check with the ESP if you have the proper settings or not. I'm gonna show you that also, and these are the device and icon setups can be executed later point also if you have somewhere configured ESP to skip these things so that later point it will come. What does it mean is, like, let's say you applied some kind of configuration complaints policy that might come up a later point, you're okay with that. So that's the configuration that you can say okay. So let's have a look on continue anyway by clicking on that button, so that the device setup, all of that stuff will come later point. But let me show you ESP page where you can see. So this is where you have to navigate to Windows enrollment, and then here ESP enrollment status page, and then you see here I have already one priority one, which talks about ESP to be yes. Show the profile app configuration. If I just edit, so I've taken yes for the profile configuration. Progress should be shown, otherwise there's a blank different screen. So I wanted that should be shown for autopilot, and then I want to block all the apps here. Meaning in case if there aren't any apps, until that time the machine will be on same page of autopilot, but I don't want to do that. So what I've done is I basically said that no as the option I've chosen, and these are the additional options that I've selected. In case if you're quite new, you can look at all of these, and also you can see here under configuration profile there's a bug within the autopilot sometimes. So domain join for hybrid AD join, in case if you're trying to do that, you can actually create a ESP profile. So in my case I have created ESP with OMA URI settings. These are the settings that needs to be entered, and these are given by Microsoft, in fact, or the community. You can check out these settings. So these things you need to have. So that's it. Once you have all these ESP specific settings, you can actually get a successful of autopilot deployment. So you see here it has automatically completed everything. Device setup and just the account setup is pending, and that's also completed automatically. I've not done anything if you see here, and there's no fast forward. Also I'll just try to enter my password once again because it's moved my virtual machine to RDP session. So let's say that's the enhancer session we call it. So let's enter the passcode, and then it's just welcoming all of that stuff. Let's enter one more time the passcode because it's entered now the enhanced state quickly. Let's see here the great animation for Windows 11. Now we're almost there. Let's quickly log in, and you see here now we have the central button, which is the start button we call it, and WinVer, this is gonna Windows 11 Pro operating system. But if you notice, the previous one was the workstation, Windows 11 Pro workstation, because I use a different machine. But at the end, that's how it's gonna use it, because I installed the media with the same media, multiple editions on the same machine, but the hardware is the same thing. That's why this specific version was differed, but in your case it should work also. So let's actually have a look on other options how it looks like. And I have also let's actually try with the accounts settings, accounts with the, if you see here, activation was not happen because it needs a product key. In my case I don't have a product key, but if you look at my Windows accounts, that's a work or school account, this is being joined to Microsoft Intune, and all these policies are applied along with one software, which is Config MGR 2012 toolkit, which is an MSI application which I deployed also already there on this machine. Let's have a look on from add and remove programs. You can sync in the meantime, and let me open up my quickly Office and show you the application already available. Yeah, you see here, that's an application which is already installed on the machine. That's nice. And let's also have a look on other settings which are coming up. Now, if you look at from Microsoft Intune portal side, for the new device, you can just go to the Windows devices. I think the device name is INH85, but let's give it a try. Win11. This is another device which I was talked earlier version. But if you see here, this is a Win INH85. So let's click on INH85, and that's the machine which was coming Windows 11, which is enrolled, and you can see the hardware ID with a build number. This is a build number, and also you can quickly have a look on other hardware information and install applications. If you see toolkit got installed, profile, I can do the autopilot refresh or refresh, fresh restart, all of that stuff. There's nothing which actually stops me to do it from Intune point of view. So this is how you can do it, the autopilot. This is my first experience. I wanted to share it with you on Windows 11 for autopilot. I hope this is useful for you. Thank you for watching this. We can wait for real version of Windows 11, or who knows, that version might change a different name. But just to give you an update, the old version of Windows 10 has been already set to expire by 2025.